Alright, let's do this from the top. So, there's been a little new indie movie out here in these streets. Y'all might not have heard of it. It hasn't made a lot of money. Spider-Man Far From Home, just really it's starring some nobodies, Tom Holland, Zendaya the Queen. So, inspired by that, I thought we would reflect on superheroes in MetroMeta. And so I took a look at some of the different superheroes, not just here in America, but I thought, how are superheroes written around the world? So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at superheroes around the world. So remember to rise above. So to start, I thought we'd look at a French TV show called Miraculous, aimed at little girls. The demographic, selling toys and outfits. Miraculous, Ladybug, and Cat Noir. A show that I was surprised was French. They really don't hammer in the fact that this show is based in France. They really don't do it. So let's start out, and for those of you guys who don't know, why don't we do a quick rundown on the show? So Ladybug is a show that ironically is one of the few young children's show that could arguably kill off one character and make the world a better place. So the show stars Marinette, a shy teen who has a crush on a boy, and she becomes Ladybug, the perfect superhero, as she flies through the city and saves the world with her friend Cat Noir from, I don't remember the bad guy. Maybe it's just a Papillon? Butterfly Man? The show has a strong focus on romance. That focus being the show's complete lack of wanting the main character to move on. Couples and teen angst just flood the show, and does a few cool things with the superhero powers. One being the ability to change everything and put it back. I think that is a great MacGuffin explanation for why nothing ever changes in their show. It's a Monster of the Week procedural, and they really change it up from week to week using the different characters in their cast and different things to set things off. The main villain seems to have a good point in his weird creation, but you can't get past the I am the evil person. So between the love interest and the weirdly staged 3D animation, I'd say that Ladybug and Cat Noir shows us how a superhero show should be done, aiming it at a different audience. Unlike most superhero shows, Ladybug and Cat Noir is focused solely on telling a love story that they refuse to tell the story to, and it's really in a focus on that girl power, girl centered superhero market, something we don't see a lot of here in the States. And it's very interesting to see how they portray these different characters in these different just these different modes and different sort of fighting styles. You know, everybody has magic, everybody has around the same level of powers. So instead of the fight being about an internal struggle between the hero and the villain, it's really an internal struggle of Ladybug to figure out how she's going to use her abilities in order to interact with the villain and stop them. And that is something that I think is very interesting. It's very Batman-esque for a girls' power show. But I hear you. I hear you. You came here to talk about superheroes. You want powers. You want muscles. You want to... Why our second show that we're going to be looking at today is, of course, the inevitable, the beloved, the heart of hearts of all shonen fans, the Japanese anime and manga My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is a superhero show that really knows how to make something feel epic. Feel that? Let's feel it. Now, the show differs from American heroes in many ways. First, instead of living in a world where heroes are relatively rare, relatively in giant quotes that say not really, everyone in this world has powers except for a few, and we haven't really met any besides the main character. This changes the dynamic greatly of the show in that you're dealing with a world where powers are built into society. You're looking at a world where the people who are in charge of the fire stations and the firemen and the policemen are people who actually genuinely have powers, and superheroes are built into society. Instead of power characteristics being feared, they are loved and celebrated. You have superheroes that are built into the very economic society of the world. This leads to many interesting characteristics, but the main thing that My Hero Academia changes is the power system. Instead of superpowers being something that is overpowering, it calls them quirks, which is very specific. Quirks are different from powers in that they tend to have downsides, and they tend to have things that take away from what they do. The character can't just do anything. The character's quirks feel like muscles and skills as opposed to overwhelmingly powerful. It also means that there are large limits on what characters can do. This makes the fights closer to a OG Naruto in the Chunin exam arc type of fights, where the character used strategy and science to win. You also see how My Hero Academia takes these powers and applies them to the world at large. Because unlike in Marvel or DC, superheroes are loved in this world, and powers are encouraged. Those who have traditional and powerful quirks are pushed to be heroes, while those whose powers are creepy or require hurting others are often pushed aside and almost told to be villains to a certain extent. It makes for an interesting point to our world and makes many points towards racism and other themes. Do we as a society put people in boxes based on what they look like and do? As a black nerd, my answer is of course yes, but all this leads us to the end. What can we learn from all of this? The main point behind this is to see what's new under the sun. But what I've learned is that the superhero genre has a lot of room to grow. While it may seem strange to call anime girls in skin-tight suits progress, the core pillars of the genre have a lot of wiggle room, and I can't wait to see what this world does with it. But that's all the time I have today, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little walk down memory lane for me, let's call it. And thinking about what the superhero genre can become once we just grow it a little bit more. Check out everything we have on the channel. We did a review of Spider-Man Far From Home if you want to see how me and Marcus saw that show. There's tons of new content on there. So I just like for all of you guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're really trying to make it big this year. And of course, remember to rise above.